heal, I came here to grow. Lesson in love, they helped me let go. I chose this path, I chose this time. Everything I need, I hold inside. I came here to heal, I came here to grow. Lesson in love, they helped me let go. I chose this path, I chose this time. Everything I need, I hold inside. Welcome and welcome back to another episode of Rebuilding Me, the Art of Starting Again. All right, so today I want to talk about making decisions, right? So the first time that I was able to actually put a name or a saying to like how I was feeling was someone else put it to me. So back in 2018, when I had my very first reading with a psychic medium, she was reading my energy. And one of the things that she said was, you have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. You need to make a decision. So what she was talking about was, at that time, I wanted to sell my home care agency. So my best friend Gloria had passed, December of 2017, and everything just like changed, right? And I've definitely talked about this in earlier episodes of Seeing With Your Soul, but I'm going to touch on this again, upcoming podcast, right? Okay, so anyhow, so I wanted to sell my business. I was burnt out. Now, at the time, I didn't understand anything, but when I reflect, I was burnt out because I was like doing every role possible myself and not bringing people on because no one can do it like me, like duh, right? That was my thought process. And then I did bring people on, towards like the end, but I was like burnt out, and everything was so new of like owning a business. And like I had been in network marketing before, but actually like owning a business and operating it, and where clients were like paying like $17,000 a month and stuff. It was like, what the heck did I get myself into, right? So it was all of those things. And then my best friend died. So I started questioning everything. And I was confused because I'd be like, I'm done, I'm selling this. And then I'd go meet with a new family and I'd spend like 2 hours with them. And then I'd walk out and be like, this is why I do this. This is why I do this, right? So she said I had 1 foot in and 1 foot out. And she's like, you need to make a decision. You need to go outside. You need to just look up to the sky, and you just need to make a decision, right? Just make a decision. Whatever that decision is, just make it, right? Because right now, and this is what the conclusion I came to was that when you put out confusion out into the universe, you get that right back. So if you're confused, you're going to get that energy right back. And that ain't coming from God. That confusion is not coming from God. So anyhow, so later on that night, I was like, I know what I'm going to do. So I go outside and I'm like looking around because I don't want nobody looking at me and be like, look at that weirdo. And I look up into the sky and I said, I choose to sell this business. And when I said it, it like came from like my gut, like that core, like, yes, this is what I'm doing. And that's it. The next day, I get picked up from, my friend picks me up and I get a call from my broker. And he's like, hey, he was like, I don't know what happened. He's all like excited. He's like, I don't know what happened. But we just got an offer. We got a letter of intent, and it's a really good one. I don't know what happened. So I'm like laughing, and I'm like to myself, I'm like, I know what happened. I made a decision. I chose to sell it. So rewind, prior to that, they had put feelers out and they had gotten some hits. One person offered, but what he offered was a slap in the face. He offered like $25,000, and then he wanted to break it down into payments and wanted me to stay along. I was like, man, I'll bring in more than that in a month. Get out of here, right? So we hadn't had anything, and then we get this offer. And the offer that we get was from the company that I said I didn't want to sell to. I said, God, you funny. I said, you real funny. So anyway, so I made a decision. And when I made that decision, God started moving things. And what was put in front of me, like I said, was the agency that I didn't want to sell to. And the reason why I didn't want to sell to them was because I didn't like what the pay that they offered their people. And then when I was really thinking about it, God was like, yo, you need to, that's not your place. You can't learn lessons for people. If someone is choosing to accept that, that's their journey. That's for them. You can't learn the lessons for them. But what you can do is look at this offer and see if this is a good offer. And then you also have control and you can stipulate certain things. And that's what I did. I put in that in order for this to happen, the caregivers needed to stay at their rate. They couldn't go under. Of course, they could go up, but they couldn't go under the rate that I had them at. So that was me having a little bit of control, but not learning other people's lessons, right? So again, if you put confusion out there, you're going to get that confusion back. So a lot of times when you're in that space and you're starting to feel like you're stuck, spoiler alert, you're not a tree. We're never actually stuck. You know, what is happening is your soul is tired of reacting. So it just kind of freezes because, I mean, think about this, like, be honest with yourself. When something happens, you don't respond, you react. You instantly react to it. And then that causes this whole chain of thing. Then you get to the point where you're like, I don't know what to do. Oh my gosh. Like, I feel like I'm paralyzed, but you're not, you know, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. Your soul is saying like, baby girl or baby boy, I'm tired. I'm tired of the reacting and getting all worked up and having my nervous system in a whole bunch. Like, so this feeling of stuckness is really your soul saying, I'm tired. So let's just chill right now and take some deep breaths, go walking, and like, let's reset and let's do something different than what we normally do. Because if we normally are just reacting and getting worked up, you're like, okay, well, I know where that's going to get me. So once you're allowing yourself to kind of just like chill a little bit, then you need to make a decision. Make a decision. That indecision, that thing will have your head hurting. And I know you feel me. I know you guys feel me on this, right? So you want to make a decision, right? And just remember that whatever decision you make is not going to be the wrong decision. And hear me out on this, right? So whatever choice or path you decide to take is always going to lead you to where you're meant to be. It's just that certain paths have a lot more painful lessons along the way than some of the others. But it's always going to lead you to where you were meant to be. Even if you feel like you went in a circle and it's like, oh man, I just went in a circle. I still ended up here. Okay, but what did you learn along that circle? Now you can be able to take that guidance and that wisdom and don't do that shit again if it was painful. Or you take those lessons and those experiences, and now when you start to see that you're about to make that same mistake again, you're like, we're going to reel this back because this looks very familiar and I don't like that familiar space right there. So you're always going to gain something, right? So yeah, so when you make a decision, then you got to get out of the way and you got to allow God to support you. Support that decision. And that decision, 9 times out of 10, is going to look, the support and the stuff is going to look completely different from what it is that you think it's going to be. Because the way that our mind works, it's going to stop at what we've done, the experiences we had and the level that we went to, right? Or it's going, if it does go any further, it may go a little bit further based off of like your environment, someone around you who's also experienced something like that. So it's going to put like a cap where it can't, it's like, I'm air quotes stuck at this thing. But when you get out of the way and you let God step in, yo, God's going to blow your mind. You're going to be like, yo, I didn't see that coming. And yeah, because you ain't never experienced that before and you always blocked yourself off from anything of that, right? Go into the worst case scenario instead of the best case scenario. But when you allow God, you make a decision and then you allow God to step in and support, man, your mind literally be so blown. You be like, holy beep. But just making that decision. And that's what it really comes down to, is making the decision, right? Because a lot of times what we do is we start making all these excuses and it's backed by fear, right? So you want to like invalidate something or you want to validate it, right? So if you start coming with all these excuses, you're going to find things to support it. right? You're going to find things to support it. But then if you go the other way and you're like, best case scenario is this, it may feel uncomfortable because you don't have any proof of concept. And I just say, go find proof of concept. Go to Google. Shoot, we got this chat GPT now. Whatever situation you're in, just say, hey, chat, what up? I am going through this situation and I need proof of concept, and people around me haven't experienced anything like that, or they may be in their air quote stuck phase as well. So I need you to give me some proof of concept of people who have been in a similar situation and they have overcome from that. I promise you, it's going to scan and it's going to give you somebody. Then once you pull up that person or those people, go look up their story. Go see if they got a podcast. Did they write a book? Do they got a blog? Like what's their Instagram page? And then you can see the proof of concept, like, yo, because spoiler alert, you're not the only one that's going through that situation. Plenty of people have been there, done that. And now people are talking about it because when you share your story, it becomes someone else's survival kit. So go seek and get that proof of concept, especially if it's not in your circle or in your environment. And most of the time it isn't, because what they say, you are the average of the 5 people you are around the most. Like, but what is it? Birds of a feather flock together. I will mess up a saying in a heartbeat, but y'all know what I'm saying. Like, the people around us are in those same experiences, right? Because we're on that like attract like, right? So then you got to go find someone and get that proof of concept, right? And then you just make a decision. That decision is be like, yo, I don't want to feel like this anymore. Like, I'm done. This is actually stupid. Like, I'm way too creative. I'm way too smart. Like, I've had so many experiences and stuff before, and I just plain feel, no, let me correct that. You know in your soul that you are destined for more than just existing in this world. But then the human part of you may need a little bit of proof of concept. So go find that proof of concept. Go get it. And then make a decision and allow God to support you. And even if that support looks different or you're being detoured, you got to trust. You got to trust that it's bigger than you. It's bigger than your experience you had. It's bigger than what your mind is telling you. So there we go. That's all I got for y'all. I actually thought I was going to talk about something else. But again, I'm going to let God do what it do and use me as a conduit and speak through me. And wherever we go, we go. All right. Until next time. Love you guys.